doing? I see we're kind of matching today.
Yeah, totally. Oh boy.
So, Antonio, I want to get this right here, so I need to read this because it's a long title. I see that you have recently won a pretty prestigious award,
Yeah,
the 2025 BCCMA Roots Canadian Artist of the Year
it's a long
Award.
one.
What
Yeah.
is that? What is that?
So I'm a member of the BC Country Music Association, and that's what that's about basically. So each province has their country music association, and they kind of all group together for the massive Canadian Country Music Association. So it's kind of like the first.
That's
It's like
cool,
your regional award, I guess, and then if you do more, then you
right?
can do some Canadian country stuff.
Yep, yep, cool. So congratulations on that. What did
Thank
that
you.
come as a surprise to you?
So I won it in 2023,
Hmm.
and then there was no awards in 2024 for some reason. That was a surprise when I won it in 2023. I was really happy about that. It was cool. It was kind of like it just made me feel like I should keep doing what I'm doing and
Yeah, for sure.
continue
Yeah,
along. But when I won this year, I was kind of like, okay, cool. People still are happy about
nice.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's always a good sign, I suppose.
Hmm.
Antonio, you fit into the alt country genre. Can you explain to me a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of when you're looking at my music, I guess it's a kind of a hybrid of a lot of different types of music that kind of roots into country. And I think it's different for everybody, but I think it's just not probably what people would call it. People would call like now modern day country music, I guess, which is kind of somewhat pop country, really. So I guess people loop alt country as something that's just a bit more different, a bit more roots. Maybe it's got more blues influence, a bit more rock influence, some
Hmm.
southern rock influence, maybe a bit of jazz. Just kind of a,
Right.
a hybrid of Americana, I guess you could call it as well too. So
Hmm.
it's just not the cut straight.
Right. Um, so country seems to now. I'm not a connoisseur of country music, so you can help me out here a bit. But
Hmm.
it seems to me that what I would consider sort of modern day country music is exactly what you're describing. It seems to draw from a bunch of different genres, and that makes it a really, I guess, inviting genre of music because it has something for everybody. Is that a fair statement?
I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like, especially right now, it seems to be really on the rise, and there seems to be so many different types of subgenres in that singular
Hmm.
genre of country
Yeah.
music, and it kind of seems to be like it's the modern day kind of, I don't know, like popular rock music, or like and it's just
Right.
really spread out into different styles.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. For sure.
mhm.
Has this always been your genre? Have you always been kind of a more country leaning guy, or what sort of influences did you have growing up?
Well, so I grew up in a very Italian household, with a lot of music around, and a lot of the music that I grew up listening to was a lot of like Roy Orbison and Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley. So it was kind of like uh, earlier um, the earlier kind of rockabilly country pioneer rock and roll kind of stuff that really uh, got me interested into this kind of style, especially like Elvis Presley and Roy Orbison. I was really, really obsessed with them at a young age. Um, and that was just played a lot at home. And after I got my first guitar, I kind of started to branch outside of that. Who is Roy Orbison listening to, or who did Roy Orbison inspire? Who did Elvis inspire? And it kind of branched off from there.
And who
Uh,
did Roy Orbison listen to?
that's a very good question, actually. That one I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But I mean, because like, who did he listen to when he was almost like the pioneer of that kind of?
Right.
I feel
Right.
like he must have listened to some classical music though, because there's so much strings and like his
Hmm.
operatic voice, and
Yeah.
even just his chord changes for the songs that he wrote were very very different for a lot of
Hmm.
other artists around that time. Um,
Yeah. I'm sure a great inspiration to many people like yourself. Right.
yeah, yeah. So he was just like his voice, especially. but yeah, I kind of started there, and then it really just branched out to like Eric Clapton and the Allman Brothers, and it kind of really just after I got my fingers and all that, I kind of just went for a very deep dive because it was limited at home as to what my mom and my dad were playing. So, but
Right.
yeah, I guess you could. It's hard for me to call myself a country artist, but that's what that's what it is. So and that's where that music roots from. So, but yeah, I guess that's kind of been what I've been doing forever here.
Right.
So
So, as a Canadian, have you always lived in Canada?
I've lived in Vancouver, British Columbia my whole life.
Right.
Yeah.
So, do you have any Canadian influences that you draw from at all?
Well, yeah. I mean, I absolutely adore Gordon Lightfoot and Neil Young. Blue Rodeo was a big one for me too. Um, yeah, those two I'd say were huge for me. Neil Young especially. I played like the crap out of the CDs that my parents had.
Have you
Uh,
ever seen any of them in concert,
I have.
or met any of them?
I've seen Neil Young, and that was
Hmm.
really awesome. I saw
Yeah,
him,
I
I think,
bet.
back in, geez, I want to say 2015, maybe 2016, something like that.
Hmm. Cool.
But Gordon Lightfoot, no, of course not, unfortunately. But I mean, he's.
Fun fact about Gordon Lightfoot, that was my first ever concert. Now, I did not go willingly because I think I was only about 8 years old and my parents dragged me and my sister to the concert. And I have like regretful memories now because at the time I didn't care and so tried to go to sleep during the concert.
Oh,
But, you know,
live and learn, right?
that's right. So, maybe as a 50-year-old me, I would have enjoyed it, but 8-year-old me was kind of like, no.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, you have to be
Yeah.
in a certain mindset. Another big
Yeah.
one was the band. I like absolutely was.
Right.
I remember I watched the last waltz on TV, and I just was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!" And then I found out that a majority of them are Canadian. I was like, "This is
Hmm.
amazing!" Yeah,
Yeah.
they were a huge influence on me too.
Yeah. So within your genre, country music or alt country, what do you feel is the basis of your songwriting? Like, do you have a general theme that you follow, like a story that you tell, or does it vary? Or what goes into your songwriting process in terms of inspiration, I guess?
Lately, I feel even more so connected to what I've been writing on a personal level. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. Obviously, sometimes um, it's just kind of like, yo, I really want to make a song that is about this, and that happens. But on my new record, there's definitely been a lot of things that have been about what I've been dealing with or what I've been going through, experiences that I've had, and I've just been able to kind of draw enough from them and keep it vague enough where I think people can also draw their own experiences out of that. But I feel like that has taken me some time to be comfortable with doing that.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say that it's a lot to do with maybe what I'm feeling, and I feel like it's the easiest way to write, and it's the most honest way, and it comes out great because of it, and it's just easier to play live, and
Hmm.
I don't feel like being an imposter really when that's happening.
Right.
So
So it's authentic, right? And that's kind of
exactly.
a buzzword these days. Like you want your authenticity to shine through. Do you feel like, and I'm not calling you old here by any means, but do you feel like as you age and mature, that's something that you're more easily able to express is like your own self, where you don't feel like you have to be a certain way or a certain type of person?
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny you say that. One of the songs on my new record is called "I Don't Shine Like I Used to." Is what and it's basically about getting a bit older, and how things change as you get older, and and it's funny. I was watching Jay Leno's car show when I was on tour, and he was like on. I think he was on one of these news channels, and he was just showing his cars, doing his thing. And he said, that this one doesn't shine like it used to, right? And
That's
I
a good
thought,
impersonation.
yeah, that's my other job. Uh, but yeah, and I thought, oh, that's such a great line. And I think at the time I was probably feeling like I was getting a bit older, and it just kind of I brought it to some friends, and we wrote the song, and it's one of my favorites. I can't wait to release it in January.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Hmm.
So when you do write, now I'm not a songwriter or anything like that, so forgive me if this is kind of a stupid
No,
question, but
no,
like
nothing stupid.
you do you get inspiration? You said you got this inspiration from maybe that that quote, but
Hmm.
is it largely words that inspire you? Is it sounds? Is it just a feeling? Like what gets the ball rolling?
It's both. I mean, like I'll hear something, especially like a line or something, or I'll say something, and I'll be like, oh, and I'll be just doing the most random thing, maybe at the grocery store, or just walking, and I'll jot that down. And then if I'm doing something else, I'll like, for example, I was in the shower, and getting out of the shower, and I was just humming a melody, and the last song I just wrote was a Christmas tune that's going to be coming out in November, and that's how I got the basis for that song, was just like me just joking around in the shower, and then had a melody. I'm like, that's pretty good. So it's just kind of, it happens and you have to be open to it happening at moments where like, even before, like, it always happens like right before bed, or like while I'm just
Right.
just
Of
falling
course.
asleep, and then I
Yes.
get my voice note and I try and sing something, and my wife is like, what are you doing, like, go to bed, you know what I mean?
When creative strikes, you
Yeah,
gotta go with the flow, right?
could
Like
be the next
that's
hit, baby, I can't.
that's right. That's right. Sleep is secondary.
Exactly.
Can you
um,
tell us a bit about what you've got coming out? You mentioned something for Christmas and a new song.
yeah,
Did you say January?
I got, it's crazy, I got a bunch of stuff coming out. Actually, this Friday I have a song coming out, with a country artist named Taylor Ray, and yeah, we went on tour in February. I approached her in February. I love her voice. I love her music, and she's someone that lived in Vancouver for a while. Now she's out in Nashville, and we sang a duet at the BC Country Music Awards, like at the karaoke bar at the end of the night, kind of thing, after the awards were over. And I said, let's sing "Islands in the Stream" together, and we did it, and it just was awesome. So after that happened, I kind of always like thought, you know what, it would be great to sing a song with Taylor Ray. Like, she's such a great singer. And I approached her in February of this year, and she's from Alberta originally. And I said, I want to go out and do some shows in Alberta and kind of expand the audience a little bit. And I'd love to open up for you if you'd be willing to do that. You got an audience out there. And she said, yeah, let's do it. So we went on the road and shared a band together.
Nice.
And then I also said, like, hey, what we should do is we should do a tune together, and maybe we should write an original song. And if the original song doesn't really work out, whatever, we can just sing something together and it'll be good enough. But
Hmm.
we got together, and we wrote a song, and we are like, hey, this is pretty good. And we performed it on tour, and everybody forgot about everything else other than the song. Like, there was like no there was like no other shows that were happening. It was just like that song, and we just got so many compliments about it. So we took it to the studio and recorded it.
Nice.
And yeah, and it's coming out this Friday, and I'm really excited about it. We already got a lot of buzz happening with it, and I think
What's it called?
it's called Hearts Don't Break.
Hearts Don't Break.
Yeah,
And that'll be available everywhere for us to
everywhere.
stream. Cool.
Yeah, and
Cool.
it'll be going to radio on October 27th too. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah, so
So radio, that's is tell me about radio for today's musician or today's like environment. Is radio
yeah,
still really, really important to new musicians or to musicians in general?
yeah. I find that in the country landscape, especially, it definitely is still a thing. There's a lot of people that still listen to country radio. I have had some songs on country radio. A majority of my stuff has not been played, and it's probably due to the nature that it's a bit more on the alternative side of things. And I think what seems to be what radio does nowadays, from what I understand and from what I've heard, is that they kind of try and stay a little bit safe in terms of what they're going to be programming. So anything that's a little bit outside of the box, they might not. But this song, I'm hoping, and I think it will. I think it might be picked up by some terrestrial radio, but yes, it does still hold a really large, especially in the country music realm
Mm-hmm.
of things.
Mm-hmm.
People are still, still making money off radio and still listening. So
Right.
yeah.
And how important is it to get into the American market? And how do you do that?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin because I'm still focusing on my neck of the woods out here. But I mean, I'm gonna be going to Nashville at the end of the month to promote this song with Taylor, and she actually lives out there, so she probably has a pretty good understanding on what it takes to be out
Mm-hmm.
there and promote out there. But we have a pretty cool opportunity. I'm not sure I can share it right now, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't you know I haven't really thought much about the United States, but it's I mean there's so many artists out in Nashville, and there's so many country acts in the United States that I'm assuming there would be such a large market to try and break out of. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's
uh,
crazy, but
yeah.
I guess in today's day and age, you have a lot more tools at your disposal for potential promotion, right? Like back in the day, you had radio, but
Hmm.
now you have social media, you have streaming platforms, all kinds of things. So, do you see that as an advantage, though, or how do you view that?
I think it's an advantage. I mean, like just like anything in life, and you know, there's pros and cons to a lot of stuff. I feel like it's probably way easier to discover people's music. It's way easier to find that next artist that you're wanting to listen to. It's way easier to promote a show.
Hmm.
There's a lot of really great things that can come out of social media and the internet. And then there's a lot of other things too, you know, like it's probably really overly saturated in the sense that there's so many people trying to do it, and then you pay less attention. Um, Not to mention like the mental health stuff that comes with
Yeah,
social media. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's hard not to compare yourself to anyone
for
on those
sure.
platforms. So yeah, I think it is easier in
Yeah,
terms of if you want to be a do-it-yourself artist, which I'm an independent artist, and I and all the tools are there basically for you to take advantage of. You just got to make sure you know how to learn them and use them. So
right.
for someone like me who doesn't have a label or anything like that, it's super helpful.
I
Yeah.
guess the more promotion you can get, the better. But like you say, I can see how it might be a little bit intimidating because when you can always see what your competition is doing, there's the pressure, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, like it's more so like it's harder to like what you need to do is, and I've gotten a lot better at it, is you just kind of need to focus on what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because you know, if you just focus on what you're doing, it's great to see what other people are doing, and you get great ideas, and you know, it's great to see your peers and people succeed and stuff like that. But you can, if you know, if you're having a pretty bad day, maybe you can get into a situation where you're comparing yourself to other people, and you know, I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that. You
Right.
know, but you know it's best to focus on what you're doing, I find, and if you can just make sure that that's good, then you're good. But it's easier said than done, right? It's a very
Yeah, I would
competitive
imagine.
business, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
For sure. So you mentioned a little bit about being on tour. Are you still doing some shows, or is there something coming up in the near future?
Well, we just went on tour in Vancouver Island, so we were in September 17th to the 21st. We went from Port McNeil to Tofino, the string of four show dates, which was awesome. And
Hmm.
then this Saturday, we just capped off the kind of show situation at the Wise Hall in Vancouver, and that was just
Right.
awesome.
Was that with Todd? One of those with Todd?
No, we did a show with Todd in August, actually.
August.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that was wicked too. That was actually
Yeah.
one of our better shows for real. We sounded awesome, and I got the footage and audio and stuff like that from. But yeah, we had a show this Saturday, and it just like it's such a testament to how touring and doing shows is like. There's like no shortcut, because when you just do that, you know, you learn so much about each other. You learn so much about the show, the
Right.
material, what's working, what's not working, and yeah, it's huge. It's so much fun, and I want to do it all the time. But yeah,
Yeah.
right now we
Yeah.
got nothing planned currently, but we do have some shows in April and May planned for a tour that I'll be announcing hopefully.
Cool. Well, we're
Mhm.
looking forward to that for
Yeah.
sure. So tell us before we go, who are you listening to these days?
Oh man, I listen to a lot of very different stuff. Like I'm kind of, especially when I want to unwind, I don't really listen to anything that sounds like what I'm doing, because I just want to forget, just want to forget
Right.
about what I'm doing, if that makes any sense.
I hear you.
There's
Yeah.
a band I've been listening to right now. They're called World News. They're really good. Let me just pull up my Spotify and just show you what's in my what's. Yeah, World News. A song called "The Tin Man." Olivia Dean. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I think I have. Yes.
She's excellent. Um, Looks like a lot of the Mavericks, so that's pretty close to what I'm doing. So I've been listening to a lot of them. Uh, Amanda Marshall,
Okay.
Ozzy Osbourne,
Yeah. Yeah.
and The Doors. I've been listening to a lot of The Doors.
It sounds like a little bit of everything,
Yeah, I kind of just
right?
I'm a big music lover, so I kind of
Yeah.
stick my fingers in everything, and I see if there's anything I can grab from anything too. It kind of
I guess hence the alt country genre there too, a little
yeah,
mix of everything, right?
yeah, I do. I'm a big
Yeah.
music lover, so it's not really just cut and dry, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, Antonio, tell us where we can find you, where we can check out when you're going back for some shows, your new music, and that kind of thing.
All right. Well, the best, I mean, if you're an Instagram user, the best place you can find me is on Instagram at Antonio Larosa. If you go to my website, Antonio Larosa Music, you can find all my tour dates and my show dates posted there. And if you join my mailing list on my website, I send out updates all the time with lots of information about new songs, new shows, you name it. So, yeah, that's the best place to
Cool.
find me.
Okay. Well, I'll put all of your info in the caption as well so people can check you out.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me for a quick chat today.
Yeah.
I
Thanks,
wish you
Mandy.
the best of luck, and I'll be following along on your journey for sure.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me, Mandy.